If you are visiting our channel for the first time, please subscribe first to get the latest updates. Today we are going to discuss the concept of inverse function, or you can say that inverse of a function. As its name indicates, it is the inverse of a certain function. But what does it mean by the inverse function? Let's discuss its concept by using an example. If you are given with the function that is y is equals to f of x is equals to 3x plus 1. This is a function. Now if we represent in the form of block diagram, you can make this function as by using the two blocks. Why? Because one block is for addition and the other is for multiplication. Because this function consists of two operations. One is the addition and the other is the multiplication by 3. So we will have two blocks, where we will have an input of x and the output will be y, as it is clear from the given function. Now what will be inside this block diagram? Let's see. If you are having a x and you want to make it 3x plus 1, what you have to do? You have to first multiply it with 3 to make it 3x. So I'll write multiplied by 3. What will be the output? The output will be 3x. As you have multiplied the x with 3, you will get 3x. Now, in the next phase, you have to add 1 in order to make the given function. So, I'll write add 1. What will be the output? Output will be y is equals to 3x plus 1. So this is how we have made the given function. Now what if I move in the opposite direction? Let's see. The same blocks will be used. Let's see what will be the difference. First of all, you have to change the direction of the arrows. Now the direction of the arrows will be like this. Okay. So it means the output, now we are moving from output towards the input. From y, you have to get the x. Now in order to get the x, you have to solve the y. Now we will have y is equals to 3x plus 1 here. If I move in the opposite direction, in order to get the x, or you can say you have to get the x from this equation, you have to invert all the operations of y is equals to f of x. But how? In y is equals to f of x, we have added 1. In here, we have added 1. But in this, we have to subtract 1. Then what we will get? We will get y minus 1. As you are subtracting 1 from y, we are talking about y now. In the function f of x, we were talking about x because we are moving from left to right. Now we are moving from right to left. So we have to subtract 1. We will get y minus 1. Then what we have to do? We have to do another opposite operation, that here we have multiplied by 3. But in the inverse function, we have to divide by 3. What we will get? We will get y minus 1 divided by 3. Now this is equals to x. Okay. So this means if I say that this is a function that is y is equals to, this is equals to f of x. Okay. Now what about this second one? This is basically the inverse of function, that is equals to f inverse of y. So it means if you move in the opposite direction or you do all the operations opposite to the given function, you are taking the inverse of the function. So I can represent the function here as normally we have the notation y is equals to f of x. This is the normal function. When we talk about its inverse, we will write f inverse of y is equals to x. This representation is very important because in the next few because in a short while we will see how you can use this notation to find the inverse of a function. So this is very important. This is read as, how you can read it? It can be read as f inverse of y. Okay. Now if I say that what about the given example that we have seen above, then we can say that in the above example, f of x is equals to 3x plus 1. But f inverse of y is equals to y minus 1 divided by 3. So this is how the inverse function differs from the given function. Let's have a definition of the inverse of function. This was just a concept for your understanding. So the inverse of a function in algebra is defined as, so this is the definition of inverse of a function. Let f be a function from x onto y, then inverse of f will be denoted by f inverse, and it's a function from y onto x. While in f was from x onto y, on the other hand f inverse will be from y onto x, and it can be defined as, mathematically we can say that x is equals to f inverse of y, where for all y belongs to the y, where x as y is function is y onto x, that's why we have written y. If and only if, this is the condition, if and only if y is equals to f of x, where for all x belongs to capital X. So this is basically the mathematical notation of inverse of a function, where we are saying that inverse of a function is denoted by x is equals to f inverse of y, and this is a very important notation that you have to keep in your mind while solving for inverse of a function, and this condition is possible only if y is equals to f of x. If I write it, if I show it diagrammatically as, these are the two functions, that is, this is x and this is y, and here we have x and here we have y. So if x is the where x to y is a function, this will be represented as f, that is y is equals to f of x. If I say that y is equals to f of x, and if this is the condition, then we can say that the inverse also exists, that is f inverse of y is equals to x. So this is basically this is basically the diagrammatic representation of the inverse in algebra, that it is required that first it is required that y should be a function of f of x, then you can say that the inverse of function exists. So this was all about the inverse of a function. In our next lecture we will see how you can find the inverse of a function by using a four-step method. Thank you. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe our channel math.com for more updates. Thank you.